I'm joined by Farouk Khan. He's been studying the form of the two teams tonight.
Thanks, Kevin. We have Klompo Kikana. He has shown why he has been a regular in midfield, giving preventative coverage to an exciting attacking force. He will be dependent on to anchor that midfield. Then we have Surprise Moriri, who will play as an anchor man, linking the defense to attack. Next we have Elias Pelembe, will give width and is able to penetrate as well as score important goals. A lot will depend on his wing attack. On the side of Wits, we have Emil Biron in goal. Will have to his work cut out, a capable goalkeeper with loads of experience. Pungwayo fits the mold of a modern fullback and will give them attacking options. An exciting young player. Then we have Mabizela, one of the best central defenders SA has produced. In combination with Spencer, a lot will depend on their defensive qualities.
So there you have some of the key players that Farouk Khan has identified for this evening, and the match referee had a chat to him before the match got underway. He seems in a pretty good frame of mind. He's a lovely chap, he's Victor Klungwani, and I'm sure he'll give us a good display of refereeing this evening. So it is Mamel-Bidve Sundowns who will kick off, although Teko Modise seem to be dilly-dallying a little bit. Underway at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. It's Mamel-Bidve Sundowns against Bidvest Wits tonight. Mamel-Bidve Sundowns in their traditional colours of Brazil, and Bidvest Wits in their home strip, because there's no clash of colours. They're in the blue and white, playing from left to right of Bidvest Wits. Early touch here for the man who was the man of the match on Friday night, Lechlo Onola Masalesa. And I must tell you, Farouk, if you watched that game, you probably did, that he played such an integral role as the holding midfielder playmaker for Bidvest Wits last Friday.
Well, I know Vieira from the time he was with us at the under-20s, a very promising young man. And yes, he makes up for his lack of pace with good, intelligent passing, and he has ability to get stuck in midfield, Kevin.
Goalkeepers are renowned to want an early touch as quickly as possible, and Wayne Sandilands has been doing fabulous work for Mamel-Bidve Sundowns in League and Cup action in the season so far, looking to keep another clean sheet for Mamel-Bidve Sundowns. 3 successive clean sheets against Free State Stars, Amazulu and Cosmos before the 2-2 draw against Morocco Swallows that took place on the 24th of February. Modise, nice little ball through the middle. Modise really has come to light, and he's much more than Modise that we saw at Orlando Pirates just in the last little while. Particularly been given the armband as well from coach Johan Neeskens. This is a man who's also been mighty impressive for Bidvest Wits, and I must say, talks about the setup of teams in the ABSA Premiership, and talk about the spine, and I think the Bidvest Wits spine is pretty intelligent, as they almost give the ball away to Asiva Langwe, who is ferreting away from the left-hand side. A very competent player indeed he is. Ball given away to Elias Pelembe. I like the pressure that Bidvest Wits are exerting early on, not afraid to run at their opponents are the students.
Well, it's important how Mamel-Bidve Sundowns approach this game. Their mentality is crucial. If they believe Wits is going to be a pushover, Wits could surprise them on the break, as we saw there. They don't have to give away possession while they're attacking, because then Wits will exploit that.
Interesting to see that Surprise Moriri and Klompo Kikana taking up their positions, and he's been involved a lot more from a defensive midfield role. Most recently, Surprise Moriri not taking anything away from his attacking prowess, because he's a man that can fill a multiple role here for Mamel-Bidve Sundowns tonight.
A very exciting player. I had the pleasure of working with him, Kevin, and I tell you, he's a disciplined player. He's a player that will give you whatever you need. He follows instructions. In other words, in short, he's a coachable player.
I think it must be an absolute dream to work with him, as the Zimbabwean centre-back Method Mwanjali goes back to Sandilands. This is a man who made his way up from Ajax Cape Town, Clayton Daniels. Stop and go from the former Chiefs left back, Masana Mela. It's early days in the match. We're just 3 minutes in, and a really delightful ball up to Mashekwi, who just seemed to turn away in the wrong direction. If he turned to the right, he might have been able to pick that up a little more cleanly. But I'll tell you what, Derek Spencer is a very, very accomplished centre-back.
I think Mushegwe let himself down with his first touch there. Had he controlled the ball in the direction of the goal, he could have had a shot. That first touch left him stranded, and Derek recovered. But he's a player to watch this evening.
Both sides seem to have settled down pretty quickly already at Loftus First. Felt not easy. We had a walk on the pitch a bit earlier on. I was speaking to the match commissioner, Mr. Mark Linden, who said he wasn't that impressed with the surface, and you can look in certain areas it has been filled, and there's a bit of patchy appearance to the pitch here at Loftus, but it is a rugby stadium and it is a rugby pitch, unlike the Lucas Maripa Stadium that is a purpose-built football stadium. SuperSport United playing their home games there, but we have seen Sundowns play home games there as well, and I'm not sure how much you've heard about the stadium at Echimpichi, because there's been a lot of talk about the revamp there, but I've heard nothing about it over the last little while, Farouk.
Yeah, well, there was talk about revamping it, but coming back to Loftus, it's a good pitch. It's just obviously a few patches, but it seems like it's a pitch that Sundowns can thrive on. It's a big pitch, and it suits their play favorably.
Munjali, in fact, that is Masena Mela. Katleko Pule playing perhaps a little deeper than he'd really want to. Yes, Sibanisa Gumwede scored on debut, if memory serves me correctly, for Bidve-140312. It was in cup competition.
Well, you know, early on, Kevin, I said to you, I'd like to see Wits keep the ball better because they have quality players that can do so. By them just kicking the ball, that will suit Sundowns fine, because Sundowns will launch attack after attack.
Zella wearing the captain's armband tonight in the absence of Ngoma Zulu, and of course Stanton Fredericks amongst the substitutes once again for Roger Dessar. This is Gumede. Had a discussion with Farouk before we got underway tonight to sense the prowesses of Gumede, who would be a little unfamiliar playing at right back, but with the two centre-backs doing a pretty good job in Spencer and Mabizela. Gumede will have to slot into the right back position, and quite rightly pointing out, Farouk, that he's a right-footed player, so he would be much more accomplished on the right-hand side and out on the left, where Pungwayo seems to be really having a good season so far.
Yeah, there we can see didn't look much wrong. I don't know why the referee blew a Lebogang up there. All he did was protect the ball, control it, but the referee may have seen some pushing there.
Ball knocked forward by Derek Spencer. Vilakazi not able to latch on. Well, it will be interesting to see how David Oliveira settles into the starting lineup today in the place of Miguel Tim, because I'll tell you what, on Friday night I was mighty impressed with Tim, and a couple of opportunities where he tested Grege Tafia, and Tafia made a couple of very good saves. Players going down in the area, and appeals for a penalty turned down by the match referee, Mr. Hlungwani.
Well, we'll have to look at the slow motion there. There we see Mabizela. It goes a bit late, the ball is gone, but not enough contact to warrant a penalty. He goes down very easily, and I think he's fortunate not to get a yellow card for simulation.
As soon as a player starts dragging their leg like that, that must surely be a giveaway for an experienced referee like Mr. Hlungwani. Nonetheless, the appeal was turned down. Interesting, the attacking formations that have been placed by both Johan Nieskens and Roger Dessar, almost playing 4-3-3 both of them, as Mabizela manages to cut out easily from the attack of Siyabonga Ngubani, who's showing a lot of activity as a fullback down the right-hand side.
He made a good run down the flank. The only thing that was lacking is the final pass, the cross. If he got a bit more height on it, it would have been an opportunity for Sundowns.
Just at the moment, it's Mamelodi Sundowns have just upped their work rate. They're starting to pass around the ball with a lot of flourish, as we saw in past years. Shushan and Piano's style of football, they just love the one touch, they love the ball on the ground. They are such an accomplished side, log leaders at the moment, and many people's favourite to run off with the league title and bring the title back to Pretoria after the success of Orlando Pirates last season. Not the best of clearances away by Pungwayo. There's a real opportunity here. That's a magnificent save from Emile Baron.
Well, we did say earlier on that Baron will stand between Sundowns, and he's done so with that magnificent save. Here we see the ball changing the point of Pungwayo, making a very poor header there. And here we see the ball being played back, shot taken, and there was a combination of Baron and Mabizela there, stopping at Mabizela. Baron was beaten, made a certain save off the line.
Well, thankfully, Mabizela was there for Bidve-140312 because the Mashekwi was waiting behind Kekana. A good positioning by Kekana. The header was away. Daniels claiming another corner kick, gets it from the referee assistant on the far side, Lindy Kayabolo. Spencer, the man who makes the clearance this time. It's a good goalkeeper. Emile Baron is a big fella as well, imposing. The header goes over the crossbar from Mariri this time. So suddenly the pressure has begun from Mamelodi Sundowns. This is Gumede. Mokoena stops him near halfway. Now given away. Mariri back in action again now. Strong play from Kekana. He's almost playing as an attacking midfielder rather than a defensive one in front of surprise Mariri. 10 minutes into the match. Farouk Khan, the only decent opportunity from Kekana has gone the way of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Well, you know, Sundowns have drawn their last 2 games, and for them it's quite important to win this game. They've drawn to Swallows and Cosmos before winning that, you know, that avalanche of goals in the net bank. But this is an important win. Another draw will really not be what they want.
Interesting ball in the area, contact made, goal! The Mashekwi grabs another, it's his 7th of the ABSA Premiership. And Mamelodi Sundowns in front. Poor defending, one must say, from Bidve-140312. There seemed to be a little bit of ball watching, and the home supporters are understandably absolutely delighted.
Well, we did say they have to win, and our words weren't cold. And here we see a run from Mashekwi getting at the end of the ball. We said he was going to be important, but he's got an early goal here, got to the end of it. Very difficult one, had to stretch. Great pass there from the fullback, and yes, Gubani gave him a fantastic service. There we see Gubani playing the ball across, and he got on the end of it. Excellent goal.
It really was a good touch from the right-sided fullback Siyabonga Gubani, whose previous forage forward produced a poor cross, but this time was absolutely spot on, and it's Mamelodi Sundowns who lead by a goal to nil.
Well, it's an early goal, Kevin. It is going to depend how they manage that goal, because they need another one, and when you 1-0 up, the opposition is going to come at you to get that equalizer.
Gomede, that ball's been hit into almost no man's land. Kalembe, Motise, they've been shown far too much respect here suddenly by Bidve-140312. This is Vilakazi, claimed by Clayton Daniels. Masena Mela.
We haven't spoken about Daniels, but I think his inclusion tonight is very key. He's been out for a while, Kevin, and you can see he's back and he stabilized that defense.
He was such a force for Ajax Cape Town when he was playing at the Cape side before making his way up to Gauteng and with the Glamour Club, Mamelodi Sundowns. Kana almost giving possession away. Daniels again, trying to reach Palembe. One thing that I'm happy to see, Farouk, and I was a little concerned about it, thinking about the situation of the 24-0 against Power Lines, and thinking just how Jan Nieskins is going to be able to get the players' feet firmly back on the ground, the professionalism that they showed against Power Lines by not backing off at all during that entire match. Well, no fears about that. Coach seems to have done his job. The players have taken heed of it. It's a good performance so far. We're early days in, but scoring early and showing the form that they're showing. It's ominous signs here for the students.
Well, Niskins has proven beyond a doubt that he knows how to deal with players, you know, to have the likes of Mpela you know, on the bench, our #1 striker in the country, and still managing to keep the players, their minds focused. It's not an easy task, you know, to deal with these personalities, but he's done so.
I'll tell you what, talking about the bench, if you see the bench, Calvin Marlins in there, Nisinton Ledle, Katlecha Moshiko, Siandan Ulu, Anthony Lafort, Esram Nyandoro. I mean, all of those players could walk almost into any other Premier League side in the country. It's unbelievable.
100%. I mean, there would be starters in every team. You know, any team would love to have them, but that's how you manage them, and he's done so.
Palembe getting himself into a little muddle, but Kekana's there to assist, and now Kekana just a quicker over the ball altogether. Bidve-14 looking perhaps just a little jaded at the moment. Mushekwi cut out by Mabizela. Sibusiso Vilakazi. Now Sivalangwe. They have got pace on the wings, and they might be missing Miyeni, who's of course moved across to Orlando Pirates, but he's not playing at the moment because of a broken leg and a number of injuries that have beset the Bidve-14 camp. Jaiya must be ailing from the match against Morocco Swallows last Friday, because he would be such an influence from the right-hand side. But Lecho Pule is there. Not sure if he's of the same quality, really.
Yeah, well, I think Jaiya has done very well for Bidve-14. The important thing for Wits is to put their foot on the ball now and try to keep it and move it around, because if they give away possession again and the second goal is scored by Sundowns, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Sibusiso Vilakazi finding space now. This is Masalesa. Maybe they've just lost a little bit of momentum and across towards Sivalangwe once again. This is Patrick Pungwayo's cross. Cut out by Masena Mela. Mamelodi Sundowns, not surprisingly, with nearly 60% of the ball so far. They've scored a goal in the process as well. This is Pule, inviting ball in as well. Masena Mela will clear. Looking a little more promising from the students at the moment. No doubt Eric Tinkler, who seems to be calling the shots tonight from Bidve-14, just giving them the okay to run forward. Offside against Bidve-14. Sivalangwe, only 18 years old. Leklonola Masalesa is just 19 himself. Vilakazi 22. That's Sibusiso Katleko 21. And they're known for developing these sort of youngsters. If you look on the bench, there's 4 players there that have come through the junior ranks. Jaiya, Phillips, Patel and Apollos. No doubt we'll see during the course of this encounter. Absolutely fabulous job being done at Bidve-14 at the moment. Vilakazi trying to go through the middle. This is D'Oliveira. Intelligent ball to Pungwayo, who's got a bit of space now. Sivalangwe flicks on. D'Oliveira once again. Cool, calm and collected from him. Gumede, Vilakazi just needed a touch and didn't get it. I think the referees perhaps claiming there was a little bit of pushing going on with Method and one Charlie.
Well, here we see the ball being flighted in. Yes, there was a little bit of pushing there, and the referee got it right. But this is the type of game that Wits is going to now utilize in getting back on even terms. They're going to get a lot of balls flighted into the area. And Sundowns need to be careful, Evans, because if at the end of the day, Kevin, what will happen is one mistake and they're back in the game. So Sundowns need to consolidate, keep the ball, get that second important goal.
Well, Bidve-14 trying all they can to force an equalize at the moment, but Palembe is free now. The Mozambican from the right-hand side. Skewed wide by Mushekwi. It was on his weaker left boot, and it arrived perhaps at a bit of an awkward height as well.
Well, there we can see again, they're using the wing play to such great effect, and here we see the cutback. Mushekwi gets on the end of it, didn't get enough on it. If he had wrapped his laces around it, that would have been number 2. But again, you must say, Pelembe did so well, got behind the defense, and the cutback was excellent.
Well, he really enjoyed himself against Powerline, scoring 6 goals alone in that match. Klompokekana, as we said, grabbed 1 goal more. He was really on fire. All over the top, offside against Vilakazi. Now, they've been caught twice offside, Farouk, but it's not entirely a bad thing. They're showing that sort of impetus, that sort of prowess, that sort of mindset that they're willing to push forward.
Well, I want to agree with you on that, because when you're not caught offside, it means you're keeping the ball in midfield. You're not making an attempt to get forward. And obviously, you wouldn't want to be caught offside, but it's a good sign that you are showing intention to get forward and get an important goal.
D'Oliveira starting to play a more influential role in the midfield with his quality of passing. Now Asiva Langwe, who's not shy to have a crack with the right boot. Langwe, second bite at the cherry, way by Daniels. And you had to be sharp on the turn there, Derek Spencer. Well, the attempted ball by Gumede not reaching Langwe, as Ngubani, who's had a good match so far, makes the clearance. This is Mokoena. Now see what Bidve-14 have done as well is that they've got both Masalesa and D'Oliveira playing as holding midfielders. They're really starting to make their mark as far as cutting out the attacks at Mamelodi Sundowns. If you can't stop them from scoring goals, at least stop the supply, and that's what they've done, because Teko Matisse has been a little quiet so far in the match.
Yeah, they're using these 2 players in what we call a screen defense. They're forming a screen in front of the back 4, and they're winning every ball in that midfield. They're also allowing the likes of Vilakazi, Langwe and Pule to push up, and occasionally you'll see Pungwayo pushing up as well.
So the last 5 minutes, it's Bidve-14 who really have been trying hard, and they've brought back the overall possession to nearly 50-50, which is commendable for the students. Don't forget that in round 4 it was a 5-goal thriller at Bidvest Stadium. That's scoring 2 through Sibasiso, Vilakazi and Mabizela, who's the captain of the side tonight. Mpela grabbing a brace on that night with surprise Mariri getting into the action as well. Nicely cut out by Gumede. Kekana ranges up on Mabizela. Asiva Langwe doing the same thing here to Siyabonga. Ngubani's got a bit of pace about him, but that's a lovely recovery from the fullback.
This young man has just grown in stature. You know, he's done so well since he's taken up that right-back position.
Corner's been taken quickly. Langwe into the area. Mabizela's there. Misses out on the header. Daniels beats him to it.
You know, Kevin, you were talking about the likes of Modisi being kept quiet, and I think we must say Masalesa and D'Oliveira has done so well in keeping him at bay and not allowing him to play his normal passing game and setting up goals for the likes of Mushegwe.
Mushegwe's had 2 opportunities tonight, scored 1, missed 1. Daniels coming into some scrutiny from Pule. Daniels getting a little bit of an earful from Wade Sandilands, but the coach is not happy either.
Yeah, he has to show urgency in defending third. That's what we call where the robot is red. You don't take chances. You clear everything. In the midfield, it's caution, the orange, and up front we say it's the green of the robot. He's not following his road signs.
Comedes throw in, awkward bouncing ball. Sandilands will be happy to have that under control. Matisse now. Mushegwe back to Matisse. And again cut out by D'Oliveira. This is the kind of play that we expect from Bidve-14. Use the flanks, spread the ball wide, to really take the game behind the fullbacks of the opposition. Again, they're preferring the left-hand side of the Siva Langwe, probably because there's no Jahia on the right, and Pule maybe not playing wide enough. Punch away by Calvin Marlin. Again, confusion between Marlin and Daniels. Beg your pardon, it's Sandilands, of course, in goal for Mamel-Bidve Sundowns. Ushekwi. And again, Masalesa is there. What a game he's having.
He's had an outstanding game, and this is so important for them, because if Modisi gets his game going, then they will be in huge problems. And he's done an excellent job. I think it's an instruction from the technical staff that says, listen, let's keep the likes of Modisi quiet, and then we take it from there.
Sandilands used to play at Supersport United and more recently at Platinum Stars, who are to be having problems of their own just at the moment. Heard you guys, Robert Marawa, Dr. Kamala and Farouk Khan on Extra Time last night talking about the new term of coaches being suspended all around the place. So Owen de Gama suspended, former coach of Orlando Pirates coach himself suspended, Julio Leal. We'll see what happens about that in the future, but is the timing right to suspend a coach just before a derby match? And Palacios no clown as far as football's concerned in the country, without a doubt whatsoever. But sometimes timing just needs to be thought about a little. I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing in the Pirates game. There's no criticism. Nice little flick on there, but the offside flag again up against the students.
Well, it's good to see the way, you know, they've drilled the Sundowns back four. They keep that line, they keep it very flat, and they catch you every time in an offside trap.
Sibiniso Gumede, Masalesa. Just look how shallow to the halfway line Bidve Spits are playing, and they're really forcing Mamel-Bidve Sundowns to play an uncustomary sort of defensive game, because that's not how Mamel-Bidve Sundowns play. And at the moment the psychology is certainly in favour of Bidve Spits. It's just a matter of whether they can turn the psychology into something a little bit more substantial.
That's always going to happen once you're leading. It's always difficult to contain a team when you're in the lead. When you're in the lead with the goal, the opposition will just rise their game in trying to get back to equalize. So this is common, but Sundowns needs to weather the storm and hopefully, you know, take it from there and see if they can get that second goal.
Again, Daniels manages to eke out a free kick. Fabulous to see how many supporters have come down to Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria this evening to support their beloved Mamel-Bidve Sundowns. There's a Teko Modise replica shirt, and always find it extremely pleasing to see the kids in the stadium.
Well, I saw a guy there with a big Oxford dictionary. I don't know what he's looking at. Possibly looking at the words there to describe Sundowns' performance thus far.
All sorts of items are carried into football matches. We've seen the cabbages and the loaves of bread and all sorts of other bits and pieces, and the league has had to look at that a little. But also seen on odd occasions the odd Bible that's been carried into the pitch, looking for divine intervention in some way. There's Mushekwi. Masenamela looks for Palembe, beaten by Punkwayo. Just at the moment, there just appears to be a little bit of a lack of commitment from Mamel-Bidve Sundowns to go into one-on-one challenges, whether that's because they lead by a goal to nil or because there is a busy league program for the rest of the month. No player wants to be injured, of course.
Well, I think the other thing is the coach has said he wants them to play a lot of one- and two-touch football. He wants the game to flow, because he believes the ball never gets tired. So he believes that if you keep it going, you will be able to endure, and towards the end of the game you'll have sufficient energy, you know, like the Barcelona way. They play a passing game, one- and two-touch, and it works for them. And him having spent a lot of time at Barcelona, he's probably trying to bring that philosophy over to Mamel-Bidve Sundowns.
So far he's done a good job. This is a lovely siding run through the middle. Mushekwi makes a meal of it, cleared by Masalesa, but what a run that was from Kekana, and he's in space once again. Now 4 against 4. Mokoena tucks it back. Mushekwi, oh, straight into the midriff of Baron. Wits were lucky.
Wits were very fortunate. You can see when the ball is flighted across, here we see the cross coming in. And a great cut back there, Mushekwi on the end of it. And there was a moment where I think Wits held their breath. Baron in the right place. Fortunate, Mushekwi heading the ball right at him.
I like the elevation that the Zimbabwean got. I mean, how high do you jump in a game of football? That is terrific.
Especially a guy of his stature, you know, you wouldn't expect him to get up that high, but he's got a lot of spring in his step. And yes, he's the type of player that if you give him half a chance, he will punish you.
Push from Masalesa.
We must also compliment Mokoena there. You know, with that cutback, it wasn't easy. He managed to keep the ball in play and found Mushekwi on the end of it. Here we see that's a tackle of the ball there by Masalisa, and the referee awarding him a free kick.
Yeah, Kekana's really been in the thick of things, both in the defensive midfield role and on attack. He's really showing his versatility here, showing much more of an attacking prowess in this encounter, and it must be fabulous for Coach Niskins to have players like Surprise Mariri and the new-looking Klombo Kekana to register in the midfield. I don't think that Teko Motise, the man in possession here, has quite hit his straps tonight, but here's Masena Mela, straight into the face of Derek Spencer. Big ooh from the supporters as he went down. Bola Makisi, as they'd say, but he's back on his feet.
Well, he's a strong man. To have taken that, you know, when it's all its pace and might, and then getting up so quickly, it would have left a few of us laying down, waiting for the paramedics.
Mary Spencer, absolutely no damage done. Incredible. We're half an hour into this encounter at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Mamelodi Sundowns leading by a goal to nil. I tell you what, Bidvest Wits have created opportunity, and having said that, they've had a lot of ball play, they've had a lot of possession, they're forcing Sundowns back onto the defensive. But Sandilands has yet to really make a save of any great significance.
Yeah, no, they've flighted a lot of balls into that danger area, but they haven't really tested Sunderland. And I suppose it's that final pass which is eluding them. They need to get a quality pass, maybe play with another player up front. I think if you look at Vilakazi playing alone on his own, it's always difficult.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. What we did see on Friday night against Morocco Swallows was the introduction of Stanton Fredericks. He suddenly rejuvenated the middle of the park. That is after Miguel Tim was injured, and then that left Masalesa playing as the holding midfield, and suddenly the rest of the team moved forward. It allowed the two Vilakazis to interact a little better in the attacking third as Gubani trips up to Oliveira.
Very slight touch there, Bangubani, and Oliveira takes full advantage of it going down.
So Mapizela with a set piece, gets the flick on from Asiva Langwe. This is Vilakazi, looks for the other Vilakazi, Sibisisu, still Sibisisu. Good work done by Ngubani and by Wayne Sandilands, whose presence alone is enough to see the ball go behind for a corner.
They must be careful. Vilakazi uses that stature very well.
So 2 corners a piece in my estimation. Ball in by Asiva Langwe, space at the back post, headed across by Mabizela. D'Oliveira with a chance. Measured ball into the area. And look where he is, he's right back in a position to track back behind Masalesa. This is Surprise Mariri. That's a foul by Sifiso Vilakazi. Sifiso Vilakazi, I say.
Here we see the corner coming, and we see the ball being cleared off by Daniels. De Oliveira takes that shot, but the keeper was there. The keeper punched that double-fisted by Sunderland's, saving a very well-taken shot from De Oliveira.
They might have some key players that are not involved in this match because of injury. We talk about Miguel Tim, we talk about Ngoma Zulu, but I'll tell you what, the players that have taken their place tonight really showing their hand, and that's exactly what's been very pleasing for Roger de Sá over the season so far. And he said it on Friday night, he said it tonight as well. He says they might have injuries, but he says the depth in his side of guts alone, plus the talent thrown in, it's really been mighty impressive for Bidve-14.
Well, this game is far from over. Wits is not over and done with. They're going to come at Sundowns, and there's still a lot of football that we're going to see in this match.
Baron didn't have too much in the way of success at SuperSport United, and he's had a fair share of injury problems as well, and made his way to Bidve-14, where he linked up with Roger de Sá to pretty good effect. And having two goalkeepers of the stature of Baron and Maramadoro must be really pleasing. Elias Palembe in the meantime. Moshekwi in a bit of space here. Still Moshekwi pushed down by De Oliveira. No, says the referee, to any sort of penalty appeal.
Well, that we will have to look at that one, because there looked like there was a lot of pushing by De Oliveira. Moshekwi went down, but the referee was very close, so he had the best view of that incident. He's still staying down, Kevin.
Well, Moshekwi down injured at the moment. He must have taken a knock to his head. Let's look at this again.
There we see that clearly looks there was contact. Not that. Let's see closer. Let's look at it closer. Moshekwi has got the ball under control there with his right foot. De Oliveira is putting enormous pressure on him. And yes, there was sufficient pressure on him, but the referee felt it wasn't sufficient to warrant a penalty.
I'm not sure why Roger de Sá is looking so upset on the touchline. He might have gotten away with something there. There was a lot of pressure between the two players, almost leaning against each other, and maybe the referee saw it as being a one-on-one play and nothing really to come out of it. Not one of the two players was really doing anything more than the other, but I think that maybe Bidve-14 can sigh a breath of relief, because sometimes those are given.
Well, I think the ref was brave to make that decision, because sometimes referees will give that just for the mere fact that the player went down. But as you rightly pointed out, Kevin, there wasn't anything illegal. He didn't hook him from behind or foul him. So it was just, you know, two players competing.
So fabulous stuff from Victor Hlungwane as Daniels gets play back underway. The good news for Mamelodi Sundowns is that Nasha Moshekwi is back on the field of play after receiving a little bit of an ice bag to the top of his head from that challenge. And a pretty solid one it was too from David Oliveira. Didn't give an inch.
Well, that was a certain goal. If De Oliveira didn't intercept and fight for that ball of a possession, then we would see the second goal being scored.
Teko Modise, Sibongo Ngubane. Still haven't seen the best of Palembe, the best of Teko Modise yet, and yet Mamelodi Sundowns still lead by a goal to nil. Ball poached away by Masalesa. Now to Sibalangwe. And Elias Palembe is claiming that there was a deliberate boot into his teammate, Klompo Kekana.
Well, it looks like the coach from Bidve-14 wasn't too happy. Here we see he goes with studs up. Doesn't really make contact, but the mere fact that his studs is up is dangerous play. So the assistant there was closest. He should have flagged for a dangerous tackle.
I'll tell you what, you know, quite often the intention situation comes into discussions about football and challenges, and the intent there might have been to go for the ball, but when you're that high up and you're catching a player halfway up his shin, surely there's got to be some sort of remonstration, some sort of action taken by a referee, because if it's on a knee, if it's in a specific angle, it's career-ending sort of challenge. There's no need for it here. Masalesa is a good player, doesn't need to play like that.
The question about intention, referee never judges on intention, and that is so important to note. A lot of us say his intention. The referee doesn't know what his intention is, so he judges on action rather than intention.
This is Patrick Punkwayo, away by Monjale, back by Mabizela. Probably about this time in the match where it needs somebody ready to stand tall in the middle of the park and take control, because at the moment the teams are just giving the ball away a little needlessly in the middle of the park, but perhaps we will see somebody coming up with an opportunity before half-time.
Well, you see two contrasting styles of play. You see with Mamelodi Sundowns, they're playing through the midfield. And when you look at Wits, they're playing over the midfield, because when they have the ball at the back, everybody moves forward and they knock it forward.
Fabulous view from behind the goal of Wayne Sandilands from our jib cam. Mabizela. This is Palembe. Now Muriri. So tough to be able to contain the Vilakazis in the middle of the park, the Langwes and the Masalesas. Mamelodi Sundowns shown tonight why they are the log leaders. We are into the final 5 minutes of the first half at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Still Mamelodi Sundowns leading by a goal to nil. Lebakhang Mokoena, former Orlando Pirates player, just as Teko Modise is. I don't think we've seen the best of the left-hand side from Mamelodi Sundowns tonight as yet. Ball flicked away from the far side of the penalty area. And that was Patrick Punkwayo who managed to just get into a place where there was a little bit of indecisiveness happening. Palembe hesitated momentarily, so did Emile Baron, so good work done by Punkwayo. Now Masalesa. Sibusiso Vilakazi almost took his eyes off it. Gumede now. Vilakazi. Daniels trying to stop his progress. And now Pule. He's got a bit of space for the cross, Pule. Umonjali, big collision with Masalesa. There's players down all over the place at Loftus Versfeld.
Well, there could have been an incident earlier where Modise took out one of the Wits players. I just want to see the number. Here we see clearly Modise shouldering Gumede, and there we see the Masalesa taking out Teko Modise. So it was maybe a bit of revenge there that we saw in that two incidents.
Well, Modise did lead with his right boot, and somehow Masalesa managed to avoid that, but clattered into the captain of Mamelodi Sundowns. He seems to be okay though, just about to get back to his feet again. As some of the players get some water before we head towards half-time. Well, the only goal of the match came in the 11th minute. Great cross in from Siyabonga and Gubani. And Mushekwi was there to tap it home in front of Emile Baron.
Well, it was a difficult one. If you look at the height Mushekwi had to, to stretch to get to that ball. And the quality of the cross from Gubani was also equally good.
It almost looked like a little bit of a battleground war zone out there, with players going down all over the shop a few minutes ago, but it seems that everybody has recovered their feet. We should have action for you. A little bit of stoppage time, of course, will be added on. I think the referee signaling to the touchline, perhaps 3 minutes from Victor Hlungwani.
Well, it seems like Masalesa is taking care of himself in midfield. He showed a lot of maturity, like the Roy Keane of Man United. You mess with our players, you're not going to survive. And, he took him out. And, I mean, people may say it's not fair play, but you got to look after yourself.
Sivelangwe bundled into the side hoardings, and you heard that over the effects microphone. That sounded pretty painful. No, he's okay. With a little look on his face, almost looked as if he was trying to con the referee in some way. And now there's a yellow card. It's been brandished here for Mamel-Bidve-140312-0-1.mp4, the Zimbabwean central defender.
Well, it doesn't seem like much there, but I think he went clambering into that super sport board. He must be having a huge headache from that collision with the board. Mwanjali is very unhappy because he doesn't feel there was much in it, and I can't see where the contact was, but he doesn't seem very happy.
Into the final minute then of the regulation time in the first half. Still Mamelodi Sundowns leading Bidvest-Wits by a goal to nil. One yellow card, that to Mwanjali just a few moments ago, and perhaps the challenge wasn't that much of a vicious one, but certainly the end results with Sivelangwe head-butting the advertising hoardings on the far side seemed to have its influence, and he's still off the field of play receiving medical attention. So, Sibaniso Gomede, it's too strong for Vilakazi. Bidvest-Wits will have a corner. 3 minutes added on by referee Victor Klungwani. That's all that separates Bidvest-Wits from half-time and regrouping for the second half. Sivelangwe punched away by Wayne Sandilands, not for the first time. Masalesa. Well, he was looking for Mabizela, but unfortunately wasn't able to pick out the head of his captain. Looks a little bit perplexed at the moment. Does Masalesa?
Well, I think, Kevin, we're in for a very physical second half. After those couple of incidents, the coaches will obviously have to cool the players down. But I think on the side of Wits, they're not very happy.
Tule, Masalesa, and Vilakazi, Pungwayo. Both sides have shown some very neat touches over the course of the match so far. Yes, Pungwayo. Langwe cuts into the middle. Vilakazi, D'Oliveira, still D'Oliveira. Great save, Mark, from Sandilands. Frenetic activity in the Mamelodi Sundowns penalty area. They survive for the moment. There's a corner to come for Wits.
Well, there you can see the class of Sunderland. It's a double save. D'Oliveira takes it, brings it inside with his right foot, and there we see Sunderland with the double save. This is why he gets all the big bucks. What a goalkeeper.
Corner comes in, Sandilands knocks it away, right-handed this time. Mutise hacks it upfield just to clear any of the pressure, or all of the pressure that's been exerted by Bidvest-Wits in the last couple of minutes. 1 minute remaining in stoppage time at Loftus Versfeld. Sundowns 1, Wits 0. Palembe. Mabizela offers protection to Baron and then clatters into his own goalkeeper and turns around and blames Mushekwi.
There we see Mabizela going, and he's blaming him because he feels he pushed him, and that is the reason. But again, he just fell over onto his keeper, so he should keep his balance in future.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Victor Klungwani might just have his hands full in the second half if the physicality continues. Maybe a little trip to each dressing room during half-time just to ask the guys to cool it might be of the order of the day, because things are really starting to get a little bit tense out in the middle. Mabizela slices down Elias Palembe. Yellow card for the captain of Bidvest-Wits.
The referee had no hesitation there, Kevin. He pointed clearly to the foul and he's given Mabizela his yellow card. And Mabizela knows that he took him out. And yes, this is what we said. Here we see Pelembe has beaten him for pace. He realizes there's no ways that he's going to get there. There he clips Pelembe's left foot, taking him down. Referee was on the spot, rightfully giving him a yellow card.
Well, unlike Friday night, it's not a yellow and a red simultaneously. It is, and don't forget that there was a victor on duty on Friday night. To be honest, though, let's go back to that quickly before the free kick's taken. I think Victor Gomes tidied it up so nicely, so neatly, so quickly. He made a mistake, he rectified it, plaudits to him. The free kick's taken into the wall from Ushekwi, and it's half-time at Loftus-Versfeld. Final opportunity for the home side to perhaps draw a second goal out of the encounter. But what a match we have on our hands, with Mamelodi Sundowns having scored early, but it has been Bidve-140312-0-1.mp4 have been applying most of the pressure during the course of the first half. There's a couple of smiles from players as they troop off for the half-time break. But I tell you what, Wayne Sandilands has been busy. He's made a couple of terrific saves, as has Emile Baron. But there's just one side that has managed to get themselves